Go Devin.
Welcome to the TMZ podcast. Devin here with Tony.
What's up, Devin?
What's going on?
How you doing?
We got a little bit of a skeleton crew here today.
Yes, we're making it work though, as we always do.
Always do, because we have to do it
Yes.
for you guys to get everyone the stories.
Yes, we got some interesting ones today. I mean, we always do, but this one, I mean, Nicki, man.
Yeah.
What is there to say?
So Nicki, we'll cover today Nicki Minaj attacking Dr. Fauci, which is kind of to be expected. I think what she said was kind of wild. So
very much indeed.
So she went in on Fauci. So we will get into everything there. We have another update as of this morning that we just confirmed in the Nolan Wells as far as the autopsy. So we will get into that. And lastly, an update actually in another story that we've been covering for quite some time, the Nancy Guthrie situation. It's unfortunately not finding Nancy, but involving the detainment of someone early, a couple months ago or whenever that was.
I remember when that came out, and it was crazy because everybody thought, oh, this must be the guy.
Oh, for sure.
Were so desperate for I did too.
I thought, the force they used, and I thought they had zeroed in on whoever kidnapped her. Turned out not, and the guy is not happy, him and his family. Okay. So, Nicki Minaj. Nicki.
She has had quite the arc this past
year, I mean, she went full MAGA, which is fine, and everyone has their right to do whatever. If she believes this or if she's doing it for clout or whatever reason she's doing it. She posted a lengthy message on Twitter. So obviously a lot of people were upset the other day. I mean, I guess on both sides of the aisle. Some people are upset that they want Dr. Fauci put in prison and think that that's insane. There's other people on the other side that are very upset that feel like he wasn't truthful and didn't release all the information during COVID, and the fact that he went into the Senate hearing and has just pled the fifth. A lot of people looked at that as like, A, sketchy, B, like why are you, if you don't have anything to hide, why are you pleading the fifth?
I remember I seen this one senator, I think his name is Josh Hawley, I think. It was this tweet I seen went viral because he was asking, like, hey, Anthony Fauci, what color is your tie? I plead the fifth. And he kept asking basic questions.
No, totally. I mean, he was obviously instructed by his attorney to do that because he didn't want to incriminate himself, but I guess the argument could be that if
what do you hide?
That's what people were saying. If you have something to incriminate yourself, that makes you seem like you did something wrong.
Yeah.
That's here nor there because everyone has their opinions, and Nicki has her opinion on Dr. Fauci, where she essentially said that he will eventually require feeding tubes and lose his ability to speak.
It's just an insane thing to say.
So I'll read some of it. I mean, first of all, the if you haven't seen the photo, the AI photo is wild. It's him on a bed.
I'm not gonna lie, I chuckled at this.
Yeah, like writing in his diary, because the whole crux of the Senate investigation had to do with diary entries they found that he possibly knew some things that were not disclosed at the time. But she goes, he'll lose the ability to speak, and then and only then will he feel the collective pain and long-term ramifications he caused to newborns, young children who are still trying to become acclimated into society and schools, traumatized pregnant women who couldn't even have family in the delivery rooms and visits, the elderly who died alone and afraid. Young people will struggle with mental health, suicide, people turned away from hospitals at the most vulnerable moments, on and on and on. Basically, the sentiments that a lot of people do have of people that had major, those were all major issues during COVID.
Yeah.
And a lot of people blame Dr. Fauci and how he handled it and think that, he didn't handle it correctly and that a lot of people were negatively affected. So
yes, I will say when I first seen this AI photo, I was like, oh, it's one or another of these, you see AI photos like this all the time where it's trying to obviously demean him. And I laughed at that part. But
I don't get this.
Why this is
the feeding tubes part.
The actual tweet itself is dude, this is taking it a little too far. I can't regardless how you feel about COVID, this is just too far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, wishing harm or someone to be on feeding tubes is not necessarily a good thing to say about anyone, and you really shouldn't want anyone to go through something like that. I mean, he was a public servant for years. I do think that his best intentions probably, I would hope, were, he was just doing what he thought was best.
And I think they were. I think they were. And people have I can understand why people think a lot of the measures during COVID were taken too far. I come from the sentiment like this is a disease that was similar to other ones that we've had in the past, but it's basically a brand new disease, and they were taking, in some ways, they were overprotecting the public because this is something that we haven't seen before.
Right.
It's
yeah, I mean, I was kind of on, I mean, I don't crazy. Necessarily fully blame him. I don't agree with how everything was 100% handled. And I do think it was there were some, I get they were being overcautious, but in some circumstances, it seemed almost absurd, the things that we were doing during those times. But again, I also wasn't like what Nicki was saying. I wasn't like a young kid who had to do Zoom from school, or I wasn't like, I didn't have a relative die where I wasn't able to go to their funeral. So I wasn't as negatively impacted as I think some other people were. So I do get the outrage, but pretty insane.
Pretty insane.
Was it a tweet?
Yeah, tweet. Yeah.
And I also don't really totally get like, why are there Beanie Babies and Saved by the Bell posters? I think is he trying to say that he was like it's like a young woman's room? I don't know. Anyways, on to Nolan Wells. So as I've been stating from, as we've been covering this investigation, the key to this is really going to be the autopsy and what they find in his system for toxicology, when they determined what his cause of death were there any markings on his body that showed that there was some type of struggle, which could have maybe led to like a possible homicide here. So we just confirmed with a source that the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office has completed the official autopsy, but they are going to remain confidential for now, which is frustrating, I think, for the public. I think for the family.
I'm frustrated.
Everyone involved. I think the reason is because there is a grand jury trial going on, and they are presenting all this evidence to a grand jury, trying to see if they think any charges should be filed. So I think they keep these things under wraps, not to be secretive or not to get the information out there, but I think they try to not taint the jury with other
because there might be criminal charges if there is.
Yeah, so there's this grand jury trial going on, and basically we don't know much about anything of what they have, what they don't have. Obviously, the family, Ben Crump announced they're doing their own autopsy.
So, when do we think we're gonna actually, the public and everybody involved is gonna actually see these the official autopsy?
I think soon. I think sooner than later. If it's been completed, it started on July 7th. So I know here in LA, typically autopsies and the toxicology and everything, it usually takes about 2 months. Obviously, this is Mississippi. I don't think they have in this town as many cases as like the LA coroners do. And it's such a big case that I'm sure everything was expedited because they want to get this information out there. So I would imagine soon.
So does the toxicology results typically come with the state medical autopsy?
Yeah, so the autopsy, once it's actually completed, because like the initial autopsy is when they just examine the body, try to determine cause of death, and the tox comes back, and they usually have to wait for that. That usually takes much longer, which is where they find out what was in his system at the time. And it's a lot of times that could, provide some clues or explain how someone died.
Because there was witnesses that said that they seen Nolan heavily drinking.
Yeah, there's the heavily drinking stuff. There's been a lot of other rumors floated around about what was going on. So you really just don't really know.
We won't know until the toxicology
comes back. And like I said, the DA, they have this grand jury. They're basically conveying to see if there should be charges warranted for anyone involved. So we will see. But yeah, it definitely, by the autopsy being completed, it definitely shows that they are getting close to.
I hope we're getting answers soon. I mean, there's so many cases, like the case we're about to talk about with Nancy Guthrie, with Nolan Wells, with all these cases, we just want answers.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we don't have to touch too much on this, but also, like we had talked about how these people being threatened. Well, the judge.
This is insane.
So Ashley Cole, it's the stepmom of Warren Hudson, the guy who's been doing all the interviews there. A guy actually was arrested for threatening her. So and this is what I'm talking about, where there's all these, internet sleuths and people on the internet who think they know what happened, and they're sending these threats. And the world we live in, you cannot threaten people like that. That's a crime.
Yeah.
So you are now committing a crime. So yeah,
this guy has said some wild stuff too. He said there will be a package coming to your guys' office in the next few days. It's gonna blow you away.
What are these people hoping to accomplish?
Nothing. I don't. Like you said, I think it's all inflamed through through people putting their own theories out there when nothing's officially confirmed. But still, I mean, like I said, there is some stuff that doesn't add up. But like I said, we're going to get the official answer soon, and I hope we get everybody some.
So this guy apparently is facing up to 5 years in prison for basically interstate transmission of a threatening communication. That's what he was charged with. So I think he was in California, wasn't he? I don't think we have it in our notes. I don't know. I don't think he was even in Mississippi.
Insane. Insane behavior.
Yeah, crazy people out there. Yeah. Crazy people. Do not threaten people online. Let the cops do their job.
Yes.
Okay, do you want to get into this Nancy Guthrie thing? We do not, unfortunately, have any update on finding Nancy.
Yes, but the guy who was initially detained, he's suing the Pima County. He's seeking $2.5 million. And according to ABC 15, a Phoenix law firm filed the notice this week, and Chris Nanos, one of the detectives, was placed in the filing. And Carlos alleges that he was detained at gunpoint and held approximately for 7 or 8 hours, and he was released without being charged. So a couple of his family members too are also involved in the suit as well, right?
Yeah, because they're saying, I guess his Daniel, I believe he has some relation to him. It's one of his family members was handcuffed when they raided the house. They're claiming they did some property damage to the home while executing the search warrant. So yeah, the total they're demanding between the three of them is $3.25 million. So they filed.
Get it?
I think they'll have to settle and get something because, the way I get it, cops were trying to do their job, and the issue I have with how that was handled is they never then gave an explanation as to why they thought he was the guy. They never said like, oh, hey, we messed this up or we got this wrong. This is what led us to serving this search warrant.
Do you think that was because, or this had a like the pressure from the public had a factor in that at all?
I'm sure the pressure from the public, and I would hope that they just want to do their job and they thought, oh, this is a good lead. But then it's like when you guys figured out that this guy had nothing to do with it, and his family members
explained this guy had
exactly. And I don't know if that's a legal thing because they didn't want to get sued by admitting publicly that they were wrong or giving up, how they're, doing their investigation, maybe giving up tricks of the ways they're going about it.
I think from an optics standpoint too, again, like you said, legality, they definitely want to make sure they're not, violating any legal things. But as far as like optics wise, like, hey, we got the wrong guy, we're still working on it.
Yeah, no, totally. And I don't think they ever really like came out fully and cleared the guy and the family. Obviously had nothing to do with it, but it was just a very like, I remember exactly where I was. It was like a Friday night, and I remember thinking to myself, they because of the amount of SWAT and it wasn't that far from where she's abducted, and they were closing off the streets, and I was just like, oh, this is gonna for sure be it. Like this is gonna, they found either her or someone connected to the kidnapping, and it ended up just being a nothing burger. And it was like probably super embarrassing for them, and obviously for this guy and his family who his news, or his face and family's house was thrown up on the news and everyone's covering it. And so I get where they're coming from too. So
yeah, I hope we get justice for Nolan and his family. I hope we get justice for Guthrie.
Yeah, there's just a lot of national stories that just have a lot of unanswered questions right now.
All right, guys. We don't have time for comments today. Sorry, guys. Skeleton crew, like we said.
Skeleton crew. It's summer. People take vacation, I guess. Yes. Okay. Well, you guys have a good weekend. Tony, have a good weekend. And I will see you guys on Monday.
Bye, guys.